The box. You opened it. We came. Explorers from the further regions of experience. Angels to some, demons to others. Welcome, everybody, here to PCP Horrorfest 2021 Station. One and all, I am so freaking excited. You know we live for Horrorfest. We're going to be giving it to you bigger and better this year than we have in previous years, y'all. We got a great assortment of panelists here tonight to talk about the entire saga of Hellraiser. That's right. They did more than 3 Hellraiser films. And I know that blows a lot of people's minds. They did 10 of them. And we're here tonight to kick off Horrorfest 2021 with so many sights to show you. Such sweet pleasures of the flesh. And we have with us the Jab configuration. What's up, my man?
What up? What up? Man, I'm really hungry for some Cinnabites, man.
Yeah.
We're getting those right, man, like in the oven. Who's cooking them, man?
Yeah, I'm loving it, man.
Wait, not those Cinnabites. Oh, never mind. My bad. But yeah.
You were doing a bit. I was like, I ordered some from Domino's, bro. I hope they're here.
Damn. Gonna get them soon, man. I'm starving for them. But yeah, this is good times to be here, man. This is a crazy horror fest beginning because I've never watched all of these together. Like, I've watched probably like 3 of these, the first 3, and this is the first time I've watched all of them together. And I have some thoughts. I got some opinions.
I bet you do. Speaking of thoughts and opinions, it's Jay Slip.
Station.
Joe. So, welcome, hey, man.
Good to see you. Happy Horrorfest.
Happy Horrorfest. You know, it's September. To us now, that means we're in Halloween. So
hey man, it's a shame they didn't They used a different Pinhead in those last two. You know, Doug Bradley was family.
He was, right? And
He
you
was
don't
family.
turn your back on family. That's a
You don't turn your
whole
back.
a whole tragic bit of events that Hellraiser is an interesting thing. In fact, going through all 10 movies in the fashion that we did is a really great lesson in pleasure and pain. So it kind of works, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of pleasure and pain, we hate to interrupt his comic book reading, but Brooks is here.
Oh.
The hell?
I'm reading my free comic book day copy of Investigators.
Nice
Because they're alligators.
I didn't pick that one up. Are they also investigative, like
They are.
detectives? Oh, interesting. Thank you for being here, Brooks.
Yeah. It's, raise a little hell, right?
Yeah, so let's raise some hell, guys. Let's raise some hell. Sometimes in a really cool, clever, like figurative way, and then other times in a pretty lame-o, very direct, no, they're demons from hell kind of way. Anyway, let's talk about this Hellraiser franchise. All right, overall, I like the Hellraiser franchise. One of the reasons why I like it so much is that, for the most part, 8 out of 10 of the films, we do have Doug Bradley playing Pinhead. And regardless of the level of craft in the film or the level of interest and exhilaration that the film inspires in you, he is always awesome when he shows up. Even when at the end when he starts getting a bit too,
Kind of big for the outfit.
But
It happens.
This corset will tear your soul apart.
I met Doug Bradley. I should have found the image so I could hold it up tonight, but I didn't. Maybe I'll try to remember to do that next week just for a gag. But I think he cements it, right? Even Clive Barker, of course, the whole series is based on the movie that Clive Barker did. He wrote and directed this film. It was his first film he directed. He wrote a novella to kind of sell the film called The Hellbound Heart. I read it. It's a little bit different, like way different. Like Clive Barker had a vision that Julia was going to become the big
god
face,
person.
right? She was going to become the queen of hell, right? Mm-hmm. And Pinhead, because they put him on the poster, and of course, the first time you see Pinhead, especially as a kid, you're like, I am terrified, and I want to know everything about that dude. Like what the hell, right? Very small role in the Hellbound Heart, but the whole series became about him. Clive Barker even said this series is less. So I got the Arrow set, and I was watching the Leviathan making of, and Clive goes, "This will be." And he's, by the way, Clive's not just sitting in a chair. He's like sitting in a ring of candles lit in like this dingy place, and he's like, "This will be the last interview I ever do about Hellraiser. I'm tired of talking about this." And in fact, it's become more of Doug's thing than mine. And I think that's true. You know, if you look at the original film and how it progresses, it gets really fucking far apart. But you can look at the first 4 films as one kind of complete story in a way. And then the rest are just, it's basically Miramax and the Weinsteins trying to keep the rights away from Clive Barker until they eventually do a reboot, right? Which was planned very early on, right? And every time they made from Inferno through Hellworld, each one of those was made to keep the rights away from Clive so that they could do this alleged reboot with Doug Bradley. And that's one of the reasons why Doug Bradley stuck around, right? And then when he left, by the way, we'll get to it, but when he left for Revelations, he was offered like a $500 to $1,000 for his performance. And that was when it was too much for him. So it's an interesting story. As a franchise, I do like it. I like it because I love Pinhead. He never gets goofy. The movies get goofy. The movies get dumb. Some of them are just trash, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are trash I love, like Beautiful Disasters for me. But so overall, I like it. But they never betray that character of Pinhead. Or I should say, Doug Bradley never betrays the character of Pinhead. And it's always there. The first few movies are super solid. The first one is a classic of the genre. Speaking of classics of the genre, Jelani, what do you think about the franchise overall?
Woo! I think this is a mixed bag. This is a completely mixed bag. Some of these movies are freaking masterpieces. They will keep you up at night. Things that you will not think about for years. Some I've just forgot. Like I watched all these pretty much in a big old sitting, as much as I could, in like a week's time. I watched all of them, and 3 of them blur together. 4 of them blur together. I take that back. We'll get into that, but it's a mixed bag. And I never watched these as a kid because I didn't like Hellraiser. There was just something about Doug Bradley's Pinhead, all the Cenobites, the way they looked, the feeling. I wanted no part of it.
They're made to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm incredibly uncomfortable to the point where I never watched the films for real. The first one I ever watched was like Hell on Earth, and the third one, and I was like, this is okay.
Delaney doesn't like them because they're too scary. Where have I heard this before? Oh,
Yeah.
The Thing?
The Thing. Yeah, but The Thing freaked me out, but like I was willing to watch it, and it still bothers me. But Hellraiser bothered me when I was a kid to the point where I didn't want to watch it as an adult. And I was just like, ugh. But I ended up watching the first 3. So I've seen the first 3, and then this is the first time watching the rest of them. And we're going to talk about these. So I've got, like I said, I had notes, but then I lost the notes, and I was just like, screw it. I know I've seen them. I know what we're going to talk about. So let's disco, baby. I'm good to dance.
Let's just
You
go.
need to watch them 2 to 3 more times before you give your
Nah, bro.
answer.
Nah, saw him, bro.
Bits within bits. You
See them.
opened the box. You summoned us. Jay Strick,
Oh, yeah.
what do you
Yeah,
think
we're
about
looking at
the
this
franchise overall? I know because you were talking to me as you were watching them when we would be working together in the mornings. We were always talking about the Hellraiser films we were watching. And I know it's a little bit of a roller coaster for you. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen past 2. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen past 2. I think it's fun, man. Like, I mean, last year I wasn't on the stream, but I rewatched the Friday the 13th movies, and I think this franchise is better than that because like those movies, I don't know, man.
Yeah, they run together.
All these franchises, yeah, it's all weird stretches. It's all big dumb horror. Like it's just fun, man. It knows what it is, and in this franchise, Pinhead, yeah, kind of steals the show in the Cenobites. And it's just hella fun. Like you said, Robbie, some of them are pretty good, and some of them are so bad that they're good, and then some of them are just bad. But even as a whole, like I think I want to own all of them just to have them to watch them. But yeah, there's some weird stretches for sure.
Yeah,
some weird stretches for sure.
There's some literal weird stretches, with hooks and skin and shit. And Jesus weeps and stuff. Speaking of Jesus weeping, Brooks causes Jesus to weep. Brooks, what do you think about the Hellraiser franchise overall?
I like it. I thought for the most part, I think this franchise is pretty solid. The concept is good on its own, like just kind of a filmmaker's interpretation of what hell is, or what kind of the implications of hell. I think that's like kind of what at the same time kind of makes it hard to swallow, especially if you're a kid, because when you're a kid, you're like so afraid of hell that you don't want to even think about it. And so a movie like this is like, nah, I don't think I'm ready, but
nah. But I'll play with puzzle boxes.
I like for the most part, I like what a lot of the filmmakers did with that interpretation. I think that made some pretty interesting movies, and of course you have Doug Bradley there to give it that little extra oomph.
Yeah, he holds it all together. He's the glue. He's the figurative pen that holds it all together. Right? All right, let's just jump into it. First film, of course, directed by Clive Barker, written by Clive Barker. It came out in 1987. Andrew Robinson's in this film from Deep Space Nine. We'll know him from that, right? And then we got Ashley Lawrence. When I was a kid, big crush on her and those smoky eyes. I don't know how she does it, but really cool stuff. And Claire Higgins as Julia. Yeah, and Frank has 2 different actors, right? The guy that played Skinless Frank is a different dude that plays Skinned Frank, but he does the voice of both, I think. Or maybe there was another guy. I don't remember. Anyway, it's music by Christopher Young. I love it. Originally, there was going to be this more industrial. I can't remember the name of the band right now. Oh, my goodness. I should have wrote it down. But there was a band that Clive was friends with, and he wanted them to do this like industrial soundtrack, and the producer didn't trust that. And so he basically kind of got,
Yeah.
Christopher Young's score is amazing, and it being orchestral, and you can listen to the demos of what that band wanted to do. I cannot remember the name of that damn band, but anyway, it was interesting. But I like this movie. It cost $1 million to make, and it made 14.6 at the box office. Nice. I think the first one's a classic. It's truly horrifying, and when you look at the direction of the entire franchise, and it all becomes about the Cenobites and the Lament configuration, and Pinhead in particular, even though he's probably got the least screen time of any character in these films, even if you put it all together. But like the first one is about this family. It's about this disgruntled relationship between these two. They're trying to make it work. The daughter, the stepmother. It's a classic kind of mythological, legendary kind of scenario, right? And it's dealing with some provocative sexual kind of things, and it's mixing it with horror. At the time, like Roger Ebert and others said, it was just gross and nasty, and it is, I guess. It's got amazing effects, like skinless Frank in every iteration blows me the fuck away. The birthing of Frank, which is something the producer added in because he's like, we're missing a moment here. Let's do something. They literally put that together. That heart blowing up, that's just a condom they bought and like just put it up there. Like they just made like special effects in these movies in the 80s just blow me away. It's one of the reasons why I love the 80s movies so much. But this is great. I think, especially for the first time directing the film, man, it hits. It hits the moments. It's doing something different. And for where horror movies were going in the late 80s, this is the best of that batch for me. I think it's absolutely top notch. I love Doug Bradley as Pinhead when the Cenobites show up. This is their best appearance in all of the films. Doug's voice is the best in this one in all of the films. The vagina throat Cenobite is the scariest for me in this one. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And the Chatterer and Butterball, like,
yeah,
I love this damn film. I'm giving it a 4.5 because that monster at the end is doofy. Okay. Ashley Lawrence's Kirsty's like love interest is doofy. So those two doofy things bring it down for me. Otherwise, it's near perfection. 4.5. What about you, Jelani? What do you think? What do you rate it?
Well, this is the first time I've seen it since, like, I worked at Hollywood Video and got on a horror kick. So I watched all the horror movies, well, a good bit of the horror movies that were in there with every chance I got. And this was one of the main ones that I saw. I did see 3 first, but like I said, but this is the next one I saw after 3 because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, why is this guy here? And why are there 2 of them? We're talking about that later. But this Hellraiser, this film is a masterpiece. Like I said before, there are some masterpieces, and this is it. Clive Barker tells it a really complex story about family, and he does. Family. It's a complex story. It's family, and how this family is shattered by something so messed up as in fact the combination of things that happen to make Frank come back to life freaked me out. Like, who knew he would get a puzzle box, open that puzzle box, it pulls him into hell, tortures him for ages. His brother comes to that house, moves in, cuts his hand, throws the blood on the ground, and it bursts Frank again. Julia sees him skinless, or actually just a corpse of a person, and decides to help him build his body back. Even in fact to kill his own her husband and his brother to wear his skin so that his daughter can stop it by opening the same configuration. It's a crazy movie. It's so much heat. And like on the rewatch, it is insane. I love Pinhead as Doug Bradley, of course. I love these Cenobites. These are the best Cenobites. I mean, if there's one Cenobite that should have been here that's from like Judgment that should be here. And I think it would have been a better, like even better.
Wait, you're talking about the Auditor?
The Auditor.
Yeah, okay.
I think the Auditor should have been here. But the guy, that guy's the director for those two films for 10. But he's done the makeup, so I think since like 3. Yeah. So he's been a part of it. Gary Sutcliffe, I think his name is. I get his name wrong. I apologize if I did. But this film is so groundbreaking and nuts at the same time. I love the practical effects. I love that dog that comes out of the wall. It's insane. Kirsty's a classic scream queen. She is perfect to be the final girl.
She's a great one, man.
She's fantastic. And I really appreciate it. I think she's underrated. I think Kirsty's very underrated as a scream queen. So it's very nice. Yeah, she is. And I feel she's underused after the second one. I really think they should have kept her.
I agree.
For all these. I'm like, if they had kept Doug Bradley, they should have kept Kirsty as well. And I believe that her performance is fantastic. Yeah, her boyfriend's doofy as crap. There are just a lot of different errors.
But he can swallow a lit cigarette, bruh. That is one thing. I mean,
she liked that. She liked that. And we never see him again after
it's because he kept feeding her wine, man. It was so crazy and creepy.
Yeah, it is very creepy. But the whole thing is great. I liked the homeless guy, and I like that the trope of the homeless guy is I think that's just the devil or Leviathan watching. I don't know. So it's a whole craziness of a masterpiece that I really enjoy. I will watch that again. So I'm gonna get the score for this. I'll give this a 4 or 5 as well. It's very I like Pinhead. I like how scary he is when he shows up. It's worth it. He scares the crap out you.
Right. And he's not the villain.
He's not the villain at all. You just open the box. Which, by the way, how the hell? Explain it. How the hell does everybody know how to open this box?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. Right? In the first movie, they go to all this crazy explanation to be like, you have to be in the right. You have to seek it out. You have to want it. You have to be looking for it. You got to have the right. You got to have the right desire. You got to have the right motivation, and then you can figure it out. And it's about releasing, not about making it move. But in other movies, in the subsequent movies, people literally just grab it and trace a fucking circle on it, and it goddamn opens. And that shit pisses me off. You know, it really does.
I think the box, we're getting to them. The box wants to be opened. So in a way, it's kind of manipulating.
It only wants to be opened for the people that are like seeking it out actively. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not like you're a detective or a reporter and you should be able to just fucking do it within 30 seconds of whatever. We'll get to that. This first movie though is really cool, and I think it leans into that idea that like Frank had, like you have to go seek it out, and then there's the whole vagrant dude. You know that's a little. I don't know. I still don't
quite the devil?
Get that, but whatever. He's something. All right, 4.5 for me and Jelani from the first one. And you out there in the chat, let us know right now, what do you rate the first Hellraiser film from 87? What about you, Jay Slip? What do you think?
I love the first one, man. It changed the horror game in the sense of introducing the Cenobites and Pithead. These are the best ones. I think I agree with y'all in that sense. These are the best ones of the cat's screaming at me of the franchise. And the whole story of Frank and Julia and the way Clive did this movie, I thought he did a really good job because emotionally I was kind of invested in the story. And you guys are right. It's not even like the villain's not even pinheaded him. It really is Frank because he's just this grotesque piece of shit dude who's like takes advantage of everybody that comes in his pathway. The special effects for the time, man, is like it's insane. You got to think about some of those, like when he's rebirthing himself and he comes out, and I'm like, oh my, it's so gross and so creepy. Dude, I'm giving it a 5. I love this movie.
Oh,
5 you digs.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 you digs.
He's wet. He's so wet. Why is Frank so wet? It's so gross.
He's got blood.
It's just
spurting all over him, man.
Oh.
On my notes here, I do have
on your nuts.
Yeah, on my nuts.
On my nut.
On my notes, which I wrote on my nuts. I didn't have much room, so I didn't actually take a lot of notes because I know these films. So I just wrote down my rating, and on this one I put 4.5, maybe 5. But I didn't want. But I'm glad that you went with it. I'm glad that somebody here went with the 5. Brooks, What about you?
Oh yeah, I like this movie, and because it's kind of like it's like a kind of high concept. At the same time, it's a trashy horror movie, so it kind of
sure.
strikes this weird balance of being kind of like this highbrow art piece and this like this trashy slasher movie. But yeah, I like this movie a lot, especially the Frank coming back effects. And like I kind of read into the whole idea of how Frank, when he's birthed into this world, like he only has a little bit of himself at a time, and he has to walk around with no skin. It's so painful. That made me think like maybe Frank was supposed to escape. Maybe that was part of his punishment. Like the Cenobites let him go just so we could like come back to the world and suffer for a while, not having skin, and then he'd have to kill people, adding to his sins and damning himself even further in time for them to come back and just be like drag him back down. So yeah, I think this movie has a lot to say, actually. I'd give it a 4.5 too.
All right.
Nice.
4.5. 4.5 from 3 of us and a 5 from the rest for a PCP average of 4.3. 69. All right. Nice. This is nice. That's nice.
I understood that reference.
Yeah, did you? So you got some 4.5s out there in the chat. We got a 5. So, yeah. There you go. Fable gives it a 5. Of course.
Hey.
Of course. All right.
Pablo.
Now we're moving on to Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. This one, story by Clive Barker, but it had a screenplay by Peter Atkins, who did part 3 as well. Tony Randall was the director of this one. Claire Higgins returns, Ashley Lawrence returns, and Doug Bradley returns. We got a new doofy guy in the movie in this one. Christopher Young still does the music. No budget that I can see, but it made $12 million. And the first, none of these films are blockbusters, but none of these horror movies really are. They don't have to make too much to really be considered successful because they're relatively cheap to make compared to other films, right? At times. The second one kind of works for me and kind of doesn't, right? I really, really like the first half of this. I really like the energy and the concept of this movie, that we are now going to go into their world and see what it is. And yeah, you got to realize that in these first few movies, the dimension that they're from is kind of like a hell thing, but it's kind of more like, it's even more subtle than Event Horizon, which we covered in March Madness, right? It's not just like flames and gnashing of teeth, right? Mm-hmm. And I like that your cat loves the Hellraiser films. So, but it's a different interpretation. Hell is an easy way for us to kind of understand, right? But remember, he says angels to some, demons to others. So like, I really like what they're trying to do here. They go to this place, it's a labyrinth. They introduce the idea that there's this god there named Leviathan. There's another Cenobite. Clive Barker wanted these movies to go into the direction of Julia becoming the queen of hell, right? That was supposed to start here. They realized that Pinhead was becoming way more popular than she was. And even though they kill Pinhead at the end of here, she didn't want to carry the franchise because they already knew, right? And this movie was greenlit before the second one even came out, I think, or right as the second one or the first one was coming out. And the problem is the budget was not what they needed to deliver the vision that's presented in the movie. The lady that the young girl that doesn't speak, that's like figuring out the puzzle box. I don't even expect something like that until part 3 or 4 of a franchise. So giving it to us in part 2 was kind of like threw me off.
That's true.
Kirsty's fine in it. There's the doofy male lead guy in it. Pinhead's awesome in it, and I like seeing his human self. And this is something he wanted to throw in there about the character being from World War I, and the fact that the Cenobites were actually, but they all die, and what is it, Dr. What is his name? Shenard? Shenard. Bruh. The moment he becomes the Cenobite and he steps out and he's like, and to think, I hesitated. That shit's creepy. But then once they get to hell, they literally don't have a budget. It's some cool matte paintings, but it's the same background over and over, right? Yeah. And then it's just like these really weird faux psychological scenes and torture things that just don't work for me. They wanted to get Andrew Robinson back, and they were actually going to have him in the movie. He refused to. He at the last minute, for some reason, he didn't join up, so they had to like change the script. And
it's always about money with him.
Yeah, maybe, right?
Yeah,
but
it's always DS9. He had that problem.
I think the movie is good. Yeah. I like the vision. I really like Doug's performance. I think Kirsty's awesome. I like what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't pay off for me, especially in the last half of the film. I feel like it lacks. So for me, I'm going 3 you digs. And I know a lot of people really like the second one, but 3 you digs. That's where I'm going to go. What about you, Jelani? And to answer Perry's question, is the mattress magical? It was because she was put on the mattress when she was killed by the Cenobites at the first. Yeah. So it has to do with blood being put on the spot where they died and were taken by the Cenobites, and
blood released on it.
Yeah, right. And then the book goes further, and it's also you need some sexual fluids involved. And if you remember, even in the movie, the first one, Julia is like really feeling that picture of Frank in that spot, you know? So what do you think, Jelani, about Hellbound, Hellraiser 2?
Station.
A good continuation, I think, of the Hellraiser. Like, they could have put all the first 2 movies, just smash them together and just been done with it, to be honest. It tells an okay story. Yeah, the second half does go off the rails. It is a bunch of matte paintings. I do like Dr. Sinnard. He's not my favorite Cenobite, but he's up there. He's got this thing where he just wants to see he's just curious about it. He's curious about hell and what this provides. And Julia is there, and yeah, she comes back, and he wraps her up in the bandages, which I still think, oh God, he's wet, and then she's like making out with him, and I'm like, oh, that's the grossest crap I've ever seen. She's so wet. I'm like, leave her alone. Don't touch her. I don't trust any of that.
Yeah, and she's not wet in a good way, is what you're saying.
Not wet in a good way. No, not wet in a good way. Oh yeah, you're right. You are correct. But it's such it's still, I think, a steady flow from the first one, and then it just drops at the end. I like something about the girl. I like how she opens the puzzle, and Pinhead comes out, and they're like, "We're gonna kill her," and he's like, "Nah, she's just the hands. I want the desire." Yeah, and he knows, and I was like, immediately, I was like, "Oh, I get it. Anyone can open that box."
Is that a robot opening for you? Really for you?
Yeah, I've never touched that box, so I don't own.
They kind of do that in part 4. They kind of do that in part 4.
I'm not doing that. No, pass, pass. Hellraiser's easy. Don't touch the box. Don't play with it. I'm fine. I'm good. I don't like Rubik's Cubes. I never solved one, so I don't care. I don't play with no puzzles because I'm okay with brain busters and stuff like that. But
puzzles don't actually send you to hell, man.
Yeah, that you know of, Brooks.
That I know of. Yeah, I ain't playing no games. I ain't playing no games.
I'll play with jigsaw puzzles. I don't go in the woods. My piece puzzle and hooks come out of the wall.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the hooks later as we go on. But like, I love how like sometimes you open this thing, it's like I win. Other times you get your face ripped off. So like it's so weird. So like, as far as this movie's concerned, I like the pacing at the beginning. I don't like really the ending as much. I'm gonna give it a 4 because it's right under. It's slightly under this, and it's a good continuation for me. I really wish Larry was in this movie, and I really wish he was the one that was in hell that was being dragged back. Because Frank is a creep. Frank was going to sleep with his niece, and that's gross. He was doing that in the first one, and he was trying to do it in the second one, and like his hell was. I like how his hell was like every time he like wanted to reach for a girl, she'd disappear. There'd be like a naked girl under a sheet, and he'd try to grab her, and he couldn't. And it's like, this is my hell. It's like, you got a weak hell.
I thought that was a weak ass hell
That was
too,
a
man.
weak hell. So it's like, oh, you can't bang girls no more. But you remember what it's like, huh? Okay, get your life together, man. Get your life together. Find a different hell. Weren't you getting torn apart anyway? But I give it I give it a 4.
All right, that's a solid. Okay, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. You agree with BJ? Gives it a 4, and Fable as well gives it a 4. Says I love the opening to 2 so much.
Yeah.
You know, when I met Doug Bradley, it was at a haunted house, all right, and they had this like. You know how they have the monitors up there that show you what numbers are being called to go into line, and they're advertising their other celebrity guests and their other attractions or whatnot. And on the Doug Bradley bit, it was just that bit where you see him open the box and then become Pinhead, and it's just that scene really freaking gets me, bro. It just feels very painful. You know what I'm talking about? No, am I the only one?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, what about you, Jay Slip?
I remember really liking 2 growing up, but I don't know, man. I had some issues with this time. I don't know if it was just when they do go to hell, it kind of just looked goofy. And here's the thing. I think we're all in agreement with this. We fucking hate kids in horror movies.
Yeah.
And so
can't stand
like it's too early, like Robbie said. We're only on 2. You're already doing the kid bit, and the kid doesn't talk.
Bob?
I mean,
Bob.
Alistair.
Alistair.
I renounce my wish.
Yeah. It also starts the trend of the Cenobites not looking as cool. I still think they look good, but they changed a few of them up in this one, right? In 2 from 1.
It's a different woman that's playing the female vagina throat Cenobite.
She's the female Cenobite. Why do you keep saying vagina?
Because she's got a vagina.
It's called female Cenobite.
It's fine because in the next movie we're getting the great value Cenobites. So
yeah,
great value. Yeah,
I'll take this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see him do something else besides the whole like we're gonna do Kirsty being crazy in the psych ward kind of type deal. I still think there's elements that are really strong. Obviously, the Pinhead stuff. Weird stretch with Frank again. I don't know what's his obsession with trying to get with his niece. I guess incest is
gross.
I mean,
he wants to sleep with any female he gets in contact with. That's what he is, though. That's what you can tell.
Incest is a somewhat reoccurring theme throughout the series.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Yeah. It seems like they. I got where they were going with the Julia stuff. It kind of seemed like they wanted to do that, like you're saying, like in the book, but it like just didn't deliver well in the movie. I think. I don't know. I'll give it a 3. I think 3's appropriate number for this movie. 3.
3. That's okay. That's nice. I think that's good. And I had something, I forgot it. Brooks, go ahead. What do you think about Hellbound Hellraiser 2?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was a decent follow-up. It was pretty typical sequel fare, you know. We had a lot of the same characters coming back and just taking a different spin on it. I like that they went to hell. That was interesting, but it was a bit of a letdown. You have this like high concept that's kind of, you can tell it's kind of dumbed down because they just didn't have the money to probably do what they would have, which would probably be easier nowadays actually. But
yeah,
I think I'd give this movie a 4. It's because it's pretty close to the first one for me, but it's not quite as good.
Okay, that's respectable. I remember what I was going to say. This had the potential with Kirsty being in the, because they think she's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it had the potential of being the Dream Warriors of Hellraiser. Because Fable said the kid reminds me of a kid in a Freddy movie. And it's right, but it just didn't seem to fit. They never made it work. And they never got Heather Langenkamp in until the very last one. In a very minor role for some reason.
Well, I didn't even realize it was her until I looked it up. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, and Kirby gives part 2 4 you dig. So it seems like the average for most people is about a 4. So
Yeah,
there you go.
interesting.
BJ wants to know what movie has the most blood and gore: Hellraiser, Friday the 13th, or Nightmare? Hellraiser.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
literally have a
Hellraiser.
skinless dude, blood all over the place.
Yeah.
There's more blood
he's
in this
gross.
one, and there's more blood in the first Hellraiser than there is in the first Friday or the first Nightmare. So now we're moving on. By the way, I said 4, or I said 3. Jelani said 4. J Strick said 3. Brooks said 4 for a 4.5. 69 dudes. So just keep that in mind. Now we're going on to 1992.
It's more than one.
Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Anthony Hickox directed this one. Screenplay by Peter Atkins, again, story by him and Tony Randall. Clive didn't really have much to do with this one. I like this movie. Like, dude, it's so stupid. It's got like dollar store Cenobites in it. You know what I'm saying? Like even Pinhead is like, they are a shadow of my former companions. I mean, it's like it's so like trying to be like the MTV fucking Hellraiser, right? They got the video camera
it's like that
Cenobite.
movie, the Phantasm. It's like one of the Phantasms in the middle of it. Felt like
Is
a
it part
nice movie.
3?
Kid. Yeah, the third one.
Part 3. Yeah. It's that one. You got the new Cenobite DJ that will kill you with a CD. And I'm not even setting up a D's Nuts joke. That's literally it.
Wow.
Even worse is the bartender Cenobite that's got his like little shaker and he like blows you up. And then the other chick, they're just like, oh, she smokes cigarettes, so she's the smoking Cenobite. Like, what the hell?
You want to be a Cenobite? You can be a Cenobite. You can be a Cenobite.
Yeah.
I like this movie. It's got Dax in it. Continuing the tradition of having DS9 actors in a Hellraiser film. We have Dax. So that's cool. She's the reporter, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that whole story is, I mean, nothing about the story entices me. I really like Doug Bradley in this film. He delivers a better performance than most other horror icons in their third movie by just standing in a pillar for the entire first act. And it's just his head, right? But then you got the great moments in the church where it's like such a weird stretch to throw in this church scene, which doesn't seem to really fit.
It does nothing.
But and I hate this because in other movies he pulls the pins out and they're really tiny, but in this one he pulls them out and they're super long. He does the mock of the crucifixion, like, I am the way and eat of my flesh. And bruh, this is some of the best Pinhead you get in all of these movies, aside from like the first one. Every word he says in the first one is chilling and perfect.
Yeah.
In the third one, though, he gets a little bit more flamboyancy because, you know, because Pinhead died in the last one, he's been separated from his human self and his Cenobite self. So it's basically like his id personified. I like this movie. I like the club owner, his weird stretches, like Jay Strick likes to always talk about. Oh, I mean, that's how I finish, you know, everybody, right? With a cigarette dangling out of your mouth and you just scream. I don't know. But look, there's something visual about this movie that's very appealing. It looks cool. Doug Bradley is amazing. I like it. I'm giving it 3.5. I think it's better than 2. Some would say that's sacrilegious, but I don't care. We're talking about Hellraiser, a whole franchise built on sacrilege. What about you, Jelani? What do you think?
Yeah, going back to 2 real quick. Yeah, I think 2 was the most ambitious of all of these because it had lofty goals, but it decided not to, or it didn't have the budget for the goal that it wanted to try. And I applaud them for at least trying to put it to film. So that's the end of 2. That's for me a 2. But 3 is, of course, as I mentioned again, this is the first one I ever watched. I watched this like randomly on HBO. And it bothered me. It bothered me because I was like, yeah, son. And I was watching it and I was like, why is the pillar, like the pillar is so weird and why is the pillar talking? And I was like, what the hell is going on in this movie? And then like you get the club owner and he's like a dick. And I'm like, I can't, he's weird stretching. But it's so much in this film that I adore. Like something about it. Something like it's the first, it's not Clive Barker. It's the first American production of these films, so it brings in that camp from the '90s into it, like we mentioned before. It's so fun to watch. Like, if you want to introduce somebody to Hellraiser, I believe, other than just showing them the first and the second Hellraiser, is show them 3 and be like sight unseen, whatever. Pinhead's the best he will ever be. He's scary. I'm sorry. In these films, anything after these films is moments. But this one, this film right here, like, this is Pinhead supreme. Like, he is. I'm gonna say it again. I hate saying this cliche. He is a tour de force. He is just. He's a force of nature in this film, and had he, gotten away with what he was doing, and Terry Farrell just learning how to do the opening of the Lament configuration just like as easily as she could, a lot of other things could have happened. I really think he would have taken over the world, and it's such a clean film for that, but the lamest Cenobites ever. These Cenobites are the absolute worst. All right, just the fact
it's laughable.
It's very laughable. I hate that like Paula Marshall. Paula Marshall, she's a decent actress. She's all right. This is I think her first role, and her and Terry Farrell. I really thought that she was cool, and I loved Doc, the camera guy. I absolutely love that guy. God rest in peace, Doc. He lost his head and gained a camera head, and I hate that he turned into like one of the lamest Cenobites. But I like that guy. He was so nice. He was trying to help Terry Farrell out so much in this movie, and I really hated that he died because she basically sent him to his death. And I was like, it's so weird. But there are good things and bad things in this movie. It's kind of cheesy, but I like the special effects. I like the pillar looks better in this as opposed to the last two. Yeah. I like Pinhead in the pillar. The way he sucked in souls. I liked all of that.
Bro, how about when what's her name? Okay, like knocks out the club owner, and so Pinhead's just sitting there and he's like, I got to change my strategy. He was like, hey
girl,
have you ever thought about dreams?
Yeah.
Always looking for a mark, Pinhead is.
And he's like, oh, he's so clean. He's the best. Pinhead's the best he ever will be in this film for some reason for me. Like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's it for me for Pinhead. Like as far as good as he is, the rest feel like placeholders to me. But we're getting to those. We're talking to those. But for this film, I will give this one for nostalgia bait. Look at me do this. I'm giving it a 5. It's a straight nostalgia.
Shut the hell up.
I'll give it a 5. I'll tell you why. A is the first one I ever watched. B is cheesy as crap, and I just love. I love it. I love how Doug Bradley is 2 different characters. It fleshes out his character even more. I like Terry Farrell. I like Paula Marshall. I like Doc. I like so many little things.
Yeah, apparently you like a lot about this movie, bro. A 5 you digs. All right.
I'll give it a 5.
I respect it, man.
Weird stretch.
There's a whole series about pleasure and pain and that thin line between them. And so I understand. Because you just wait till we get to some of these later ones, bro.
Suffering.
You just wait.
Straight suffering.
Jay Strick.
Will be legendary even in hell.
Jay Strick, what do you think about Hell on Earth?
You see, okay, here Hell on Earth is like not a good film, but it's got like the Wonder Woman effect for me. It's like it's so bad that it's good, and like I know it's probably sacrilege too to say because I'm with you on this, Robbie. Like I like it more than 2, and I think it's just all the like weird stretches. I think that's literally why I just think it's funny. Like it is hilarious that literally Pinhead's like stuck to this freaking statue. And he's gonna like pry on anyone he can to get out. That is hilarious. Also, like weird stretch. Imagine like smashing and then like Pinhead taking this chick's soul. Like, what do you do? Like, all right, yeah, I guess I'm working for you now.
Yeah, bro. Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you need, bro. Like, I got you, dog.
I mean, I don't know.
Put your body on it. Here you go.
What do you do? Like, okay, whatever. And then just like the ending, just like everyone turns into freaking Cenobite. Like it's hilarious.
Everybody. Oh yeah, the club owner gets one because he likes to drill people. He's got that weird like thing, like whatever, man. But it makes his head look like oh my god,
so lame.
Oh,
they're terrible.
I'll give this one a 4. I'll give 3 a 4.
A 4, nice.
Yeah. We're weird stretching tonight.
So far, we're all liking this. So far, we're all liking it more than the second one. That's interesting. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about part 3?
I don't like it. This movie sucks. It's so dumb.
It is.
Like the lead actors are both like so annoying. I wasn't feeling this movie. Like the best part was the pinhead stuff, and that's like such a small part of this movie.
Yeah.
Because I have to follow these characters, they're just so annoying. I'm like, when is this fucking movie gonna be over? I give this movie a 1.5.
What is happening? What is happening?
We've devolved already by the third film.
Guy gave it a 5. He gave it a 1.5.
I kept my lips sealed when y'all gave y'all's scores.
You did.
No, y'all are fine, bro. I respect it,
it's
bro.
hilarious.
He's right. I do too. Yeah.
This whole franchise is
One
hilarious.
person's
It could be a
pleasure.
5 or just another man.
Yeah, one person's pleasure is another person's pain.
Mhm.
I get it. Well,
It's tougher.
I gave it a 3.5. Jelani gave it a 5. Jay Strick a 4. And Brooks a 1.5. So there you go. We're really cracking the y'all.
Brooks is gonna give Hellworld like a 5. He's like, dude, I really like the video game.
This movie almost derailed me from the whole Hellraiser thing.
Why you watch the others?
I'm like,
I'm dead ass.
Brooks is like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. Brooks was gonna pull a Jelani from Fast and Furious, wasn't he? On principle.
But I powered through, and I'm glad I did.
All right. That's a PCP average of 2.69.
That's great.
All right. Part 4 is Bloodline. Bloodline's a weird one, man.
Yeah, it is.
1996. And so Kevin Yeager was the director of this, but so this was the first one I think that the Weinsteins did, right? Or was that the last one? I think it was this one.
It was
I
this
think.
one. It's this one.
Okay, so like Kevin Yeager delivered this movie, and Clive Barker got involved again in this movie, and Miramax agreed to produce this film before they even had a script. And then they get this really ambitious ass story from Clive Barker, right? And they were like, what the fuck? We're not going to do this. So they like cut the budget. They had to streamline it. And then Harvey Weinstein, who we have learned is a complete dickweed, right? Was a dickweed for this movie. And he like cut out like 20 minutes of the movie and put the movie was supposed to go because it's in 3 different time zones. It shows how the lament configuration was first made back in the 1700s, right? Then it does the modern day story that picks up from the end of Hellraiser 3, which I love the bit where Dax just kind of like puts the lament configuration, this concrete. So then this office building gets made up. That's like a lament configuration. And then it's got the future in space story where and it's all about the ancestors of Le Marchant, the guy who did the box. So Clive Barker delivered this crazy ambitious script. They cut it down. He kind of dipped away, and they made this movie. And the director was so mad about it, and there was a big public fight. And Harvey Weinstein fucking took Kevin Yeager's name off of the movie, and it's credited to Alan Smithy, which is a fake name, which is crazy to me. Like he's fired him off and all that kind of shit. So this movie is, I think, the most ambitious.
You know what? I agree now.
Now here's the thing, though.
3 different timelines.
The way that horror movies make money, and this made some money. It was only made for $4 million. Okay, that's not a lot of money. It made $9.3 million, but that's not a lot either. But horror movies they usually have like 1 or 2 or 3 settings, and some makeup effects and things like that. But this one was like had to be a period piece, had to be a contemporary piece, and a futuristic sci-fi piece. There was no way that this was going to be good. But I like it. I like this movie too. I think it's solid because, first of all, you got a young Adam Scott. That's a cool, weird stretch, right? I
He's
like
a super dick in this movie too.
He is, bruh. And I like the idea.
He seems like that though.
I like the idea that we're getting into where does this box come from? And the whole reason why the dude makes is because he's commissioned to make it by this occultist who wants to trap this demon who's actually the daughter of Leviathan. So it's still aligned with the mythology. This is why this kind of ends the mythos, and then the rest of them are just kind of like anthologies in a way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I view it. I like the future stuff. I thought it was clever when I first saw this as a teenager when the space station, and I was like, oh, it's a fucking lament configuration. Bro, it blew me away. But I'll tell you what, Doug Bradley's amazing in this movie. The daughter of Leviathan, when she becomes a Cenobite, and her scalp, it's like that's one of the best looking Cenobites outside of the first batch that we'll ever get, right? Because even Chenard or whatever in part 2 was cool until that dumbass. Like, why you gotta do this?
Leviathan's dick.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I don't know about that, but I kind of like this movie, and Doug Bradley is amazing in this movie. I like the twins. Some of the effects are really bad on the twins, though, when they're using that crude CG. But the twins itself, it's a cool idea. That scene, though, when they're like, "We're gonna bring you pain if you don't freeze," and he's like, "Pain? How dare you use that word? What you know as pain is a shadow. Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. I am pain." Dude, Doug Bradley's awesome in this movie. 3.5. 3.5. I think it grew. 3.5, yeah.
You want to bump it up a little?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want to bump it up.
The way you hyped it up, man. I thought you were going to give it like a 4.5.
No, I'm giving it a 3.5. But because, let me tell you what. This was the only, every other time I've seen this movie, I would have given it a way lower score. But this one, I appreciate the ambition. I understand what went on behind the scenes. And yeah, right there, GT comic. And I'll give it 3.5 though. I think that's really solid for this movie, bro, because this is not a good movie, okay? Like, it's 3 different stories. They don't quite gel together. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. It's got that one lady. Likable. It's got that one lady from Dazed and Confused that nobody remembers because she's just kind of in the movie. But, like, I think Doug Bradley's amazing in this movie, and I think this is like the last truly great Pinhead performance we got from Doug was in Bloodline. So I appreciate it for what it is. 3.5 seems like Fable agrees with me, and so does BJ. And I'm interested in what the Delaney configuration thinks about it.
Well, oh wow, Bloodline is special. It is ambitious. You're right. It is the most ambitious because it's 3 different storylines together, with a very unlikable dude playing all 3. There's just something about the Le Manchant configuration. I love the story of it. I love how they tell us that the simple toy maker was able to make a complex puzzle box that could open the doorway to hell. And it's such a well thought about story, but not a well executed story. It's not executed well because they didn't have the budget and too much studio interference and Harvey Weinstein, and it's just so much going on. Like, they could have made this 2 movies. I think Bloodline Part 1, Part 2 would suffice to explain certain things, certain aspects of it, to drag these out together. Because I think this was the last one that was on in theaters, right? This is the last one.
All of them debuted in a theater at least one time.
At least once.
For some, I think it's like a legal reason, but like all those direct-to-video ones that come after this, they had one theatrical showing, usually for the crew.
Okay. So this is, but this was like I guess the last wide release one.
Yeah,
maybe?
This was the last wide release. Okay. for sure. Yeah.
So this is like the last wide release. So it kind of feels like it because it does have the production value of it in some parts, especially the building, the configuration building that they make, or the space station. I mean, at the end, which is made of light. I thought that was a cool concept. I love Pinhead in this. I love how dumb that guy was that thought he could open it and be like, I can open it and try to get it in there. He's like one of the many people who can't open the lament configuration because everybody else opens it. Little kid can open it.
Well, you can't force it. You know,
right?
That's the whole thing.
You can't force it. So, I mean, I get it, but he was just the one guy that I just laughed at. I was like,
everybody else, fucking
dumb.
Everybody else.
Hell, I can open it. I choose not to. But it's such a weirdly paced film. I don't understand why it was paced the way it was. Why you had to make it 3 generations of people when you could have actually told a cohesive story with one of these. You could have picked one of them and gone with it, and I'd have been totally fine with it. So, I guess I'm with you, Robbie. I was going to give it a lower score, but I'll be with you and give it a 3.5.
I really like how it seemed like I was excessively praising the movie, and it seemed like Jelani was kind of shitting on it, but we gave it the same score. I think that's a good representation of Hellraiser.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's not good.
What about you, Jay Strick?
I think like all of us on each movie, one of us are gonna just like be the Brooks of that one. So this is probably me in this one. I fucking hated this one. I think dead ass. Like I don't understand what they were doing. Like I didn't need to know the history of the box. To me, the box being like its own thing is cool. The weird stretch of it being like this toy maker guy, and then like, God, like what were they're just trying to summon a demon? Like, what do you need a box? I don't know.
Sandra, I liked her.
And then like, I thought you're supposed to go to space on like the 10th one. We're doing this on the 4th one.
Yeah, they always jump the gun. They go too early.
They're too early.
I forgot that Event Horizon is better than this. God, I forgot to say that.
Yeah,
it is.
It
Event
is.
Horizon is way better than this.
Well, think about this though. Think about this. And this is why they were able to do Star Wars Phantom Menace in 99. If you look at the 90s, there's an obsession with like space opera fiction in movies.
Yeah.
Like it's all over the fucking place. And it's not so much today, but like, because I think the Star Wars prequel trilogy and definitely the sequel trilogy kind of fucked that all up. But if you look, there's a lot of those kind of movies in the 90s, man. And I loved them. I ate them up. All the space movies, man.
Yeah. This crazy.
For whatever reason.
Leprechaun went to space, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Even Leprechaun.
Yeah, but
True.
Hellraiser.
Well, I point Leprechaun was just a joke, so they could just put him wherever.
Hellraiser, Pinhead's serious, man.
Like Leprechaun was never really a serious horror creature, I don't think.
Oh, thank you for letting us know that, Brooks. We didn't know that.
Here's my thing with this one. I don't know why with Bloodline I chose
choking
to like.
is actually kind of ridiculous when you think about it.
Calm down, young man. Why is this the one where it doesn't? Okay, the movie starts off literally. He summons Pinhead, right? And then they come in and then interrogate him. So Pinhead's just there the whole fucking movie while he's explaining the plot to this girl. Like, wouldn't Pinhead just be like, "All right, I'm going to kill all you bitches"?
Well, that was the Weinstein cut, though. That's what he did because the original cut of the film was supposed to be all 1700s and then modern day and then future. But Harvey Weinstein cut 20 minutes out of the movie, and he wanted Pinhead to show up in the first act. So that's why he did that. Weinstein did that. He's a dick cheese, man.
Weird stretch that the ship was the configuration too.
I think that's.
I don't know, man.
The Marchant made the
bro.
box, and then his descendants were able to make the building, right? Because the one designed the building, and then the one does whatever. Okay, Jay Strick, that's fine.
At the end, and then he like just.
Instead of blowing up, what if Pinhead was like, you made a lament configuration? This is my ship.
Yeah.
And then it's like
Jason X was cooler.
It's
I don't know.
You're right.
But Horizon was cooler.
But I think I gave a Jason X like a 4.0.
Okay.
So there you go.
I'm
anyway, what do you give?
One like
it's the best kill.
Like a 2.5. I hated this one.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not.
Not as much as Brooks hated
Wow.
Hell on Earth, though.
Yeah, no, I didn't hate it that much. It's got Adam Scott. It's still got redeeming qualities.
It's got Adam Scott. All right, Brooks, we are dying to know what you think about Bloodline.
I thought this movie was all right. I mean, I liked the kind of the backstory on the puzzle box, but it's pretty middle of the road for me. I'd give it a 3. This is like it wasn't too terrible, wasn't too good. I wouldn't say it was boring, but it's just like the least interesting, I guess, so far. Like I hated 3, but I mean it did keep me engaged for the most part. This one I could probably picture myself falling asleep in the middle of.
Yeah, you gave it double the score of the last one.
Brilliant.
Like
I don't understand your rating system,
there's
Brooks.
very little in Hellraiser 3 that I actually like. That's just one tiny aspect that I can say positive about the movie. That's the 0.5 is the fact that at least it was keeping me engaged.
Horrorfest, baby.
Slots wants to remind us that the Flintstones, the Simpsons, and Scooby-Doo never go to space, and then Joram wants to let us know that I don't think the Jetsons ever went to
I don't think they
space.
went to space. Yeah.
But you know who did? Tyrese and Ludacris. Anyway,
Oh my
So-
God.
me and Delaney a 3.5, Jay Strick a 2.5, and Brooks, who seemed to like it less than part 3, gave it a 3. So, all right, that's weird. That's a PCP average of 3.2, 68. We'll owe you one on that one. Moving on to part 5. That's Inferno. That's from 2000. I really like this one, guys. Like, I like this one a lot. All right, so it's directed by Scott Derrickson, who did Sinister, I think, right?
Yeah.
And did Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Like there you
Yeah.
go. It's got the guy from Nightbreed in it, right? I like this one. It's the first kind of direct-to-video one for sure. It came out in October. It was made for $2 million, so it looks cool. It's sleek. I think it's fine. I enjoy this one. I really do. I like. It's about this corrupt cop. He comes. All right. So this starts this trend of Miramax just making these movies to
Just
keep the
corrupt.
rights.
Yeah.
And so part 5, part 6, part 7, and part 8 are all scripts that were not written as Hellraiser movies. This is just a detective story who finds a mysterious object at a murder and has to solve it. And then they just quickly rewrote it, put Pinhead at the end, and there you go. Out of all of this period of Hellraiser films, because you can mark them in 3 waves, right? The first 4 are like one story. Then the next 4 is like this anthology thing. And then the last 2, we'll get to that. But I like this one. I like the detective. I like the seedy, dirty nature of the story, but it still feels sleek and cool. It's got good production quality. It's got some great scenes. Some of the last really great Cenobite scenes, like the 2 twin chick Cenobites, they're like feeling underneath his skin and he's all like into it. And like that scene gets me. I like it. It's the revelation at the end. It's all been in his head.
Yeah.
He's in hell. That's something that the next fucking few movies just keep repeating, it seems like. But I like this one. I think it's solid. I think it's cool. I think it's dated and of its time. It's not a good movie, but if this was just something I watched late at night on Cinemax, I would have been happy. Could have had a little bit more Cinemax type stuff in it, but I'll give it a 4. I'm gonna give this one a 4. I think it's better than 2, 3, and 4, man. I'm gonna give this one a 4. For you, Diggs. What do you think, Jelani?
Jesus.
Inferno, baby. Hellraiser Inferno, baby. I fucking love this movie. I'm gonna die on that hill, bro. I want that on my tombstone. He liked
Inferno.
Hellraiser Inferno.
He liked the coked out cop.
All right. Well, this movie trash, dog. This movie hot trash. All due respect, this is hot garbage. This starts the trilogy of trash for me. I cannot stand how they made such a lazy film. This is a lazy film. This is just like, hey, we need to throw Pinhead in this. Let's keep the rights to Hellraiser. So let's just throw some shit together. And then we start off with Craig Schaefer's face. And I'm like, God, I hate this face. Goddamn Night Reed. So it starts off with him he's a trash human being. I never liked him. And this will be the trilogy of people that piss me off. And just he makes me so mad as he's a crooked cop. He knows he's a crooked cop. I like how he's trying to find the architect? Who is
the engineer?
The
engineer, yeah.
And he's trying to find the engineer. And the
Spoilers, it's Pinhead.
It's Pinhead, surprise. And it's been Pinhead all this time. Well, but like you go through all these things and like you meet these people that he knows and his family, and then they slowly get killed. And each time people get killed or disappear, a child's finger is missing or is found with the bodies. And it's like a serial killer deal. It's like a whodunit. It doesn't feel like a Hellraiser movie to me. Like I won't skin tear it up and all that stuff. But in the middle of this movie, not only at the end where he gets it and you realize that he's in hell. I got it. The second he opened the box, he was fucked. So I get it. It's so dumb. It's just, I hate that they just slap Pinhead in this. And he's just here. And I'm like, this isn't Hellraiser. Just like I'm going to say for the rest of these. This isn't Hellraiser. This is just something that they put together for me. So
it is an insult.
It's an insult
to fans, but it's an insult I like, bruh.
I get
this
it.
This is a slap in the face that I'm like, give me another.
Well, it's so lazy. It's just so, and you can tell it's lazy. It's just so lazy. So I cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot in good conscience like this movie. So I'll give it a 2. You'll get a 2, you digs.
2, you digs. 2, you
Don't
digs.
worry. There's worse than this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trust.
We still have
sites we have to show you.
Yeah.
So much suffering. Much suffering.
Jay Strick, what do you think?
I like this franchise, man.
I do too.
I didn't mind the less Pinhead in this. I thought it was after the last one. I thought it was kind of refreshing to do something different. So I didn't mind the detective story. I actually kind of thought this one was trying to say something. Like, granted, it's not a great film, and there's acting at times is very bad, but this guy's horrible, right? And this guy is horrible. From all we see,
I'm going to tell you what, though.
He's got a great wife and a great kid.
Bro, he's not as horrible, though, as the dude in the next film. I'm just going to say that.
No. But he's, banging prostitutes, snorting coke, stealing drug evidence.
I love that he steals the money from the dead corpse and he uses that to go get a prostitute.
Yeah. So yeah, he got what was coming to him. In the end, he has to keep reliving it out, right? Because he keeps reliving.
It's gonna always happen.
And I was like, I was like, damn, that's brutal. That would be hell. So I'll give this one a 3.5. I like this one. I think it's fun. Yeah,
I like that.
It's fun.
I'm eager to know what Brooks thinks about it.
I actually like this movie too. I thought it was a pretty good one. I like this. I thought the story was interesting. This detective guy, and he's really a scumbag. But I figured out pretty early in the movie what the ending twist was. I'm like, he's in hell, because there's a scene in particular I remember where he's walking down this hallway. And all this crazy shit's going on. It reminded me of that movie Jacob's Ladder.
It's so like Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
So I give this movie a 4. I think this is one of the better Hellraiser movies, really.
All right, so there was the Brooks moment. Mine was last one. This one was Jelani's. When's Robbie?
Oh, I've got more. Don't worry.
Mine's coming. 4 from me and Brooks, 2 from Jelani, 3.5. So that's a PCP average of we'll just go ahead and say 3.000069. All right. Fable says feels like a Hellraiser TV show.
I'd watch that.
It's starting to get there. Speaking of TV shows, I just watched the first episode of Lex.
I like Lex.
I've heard it's really good, but it does not look good, and it looks like Hellraiser Bloodline. All right.
Season 3 is trash. When they go to Earth, it's trash. Stop watching it. The rest of them are good.
Lex with 2 X's.
Ellie
All right.
XX. Anyway.
We are now halfway through the 10 movies, so we're going to take a quick break. Station identification, baby. Welcome back.
Hey, yo.
How's that comic, Brooks?
It's pretty good, actually.
Good.
There's like
All
a
right.
robot investigator alligator.
Yeah, he's a robot too.
Yeah, there's like a dude with a metal nose.
Interesting. All right. Now we are going to get to the Rick Botta trilogy. Is it Botta, right? It's Rick Botta. What?
Boda.
Botta these nuts in your face. Oh. Anyway. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk about 2002's Hellseeker. It's another one that was not written initially as a Hellraiser film, got changed. They bring back Ashley Lawrence as Kirsty. She's barely in the movie. She's in it just as much as Doug Bradley's Pinhead, I would say, is. And most of the movie is Dean Winters, who we know from Oz, and we also know as Mayhem. Yeah. So
he was in 30 Rock too.
Yeah, he was.
He's a bad boyfriend. Yeah.
He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine a little bit there.
Yep.
Yeah. I like this movie. Like, I really do. Like, me and Jay Strick have some disagreements about this. I'm sure I have disagreements with Jelani. I like Hellseeker. I looked, and it's one of the lowest reviewed Hellraiser films out there. They think that Kirsty was wasted. I like the idea. You say that the detective in part 5, Inferno, was not likable. Dean Winters is not likable. And I get that. But for some reason, I am mesmerized by his Jacob's Ladders-esque descent into madness and the revelation that once again, you're in hell, bro. You died. You're in. I don't know. I like it. I think it's strong. I think it's cool. I like how Kirsty has this dark edge at the end of it. I like it. It feels like if they did do a Hellraiser TV series, which they are doing one on, I don't remember what streaming service, but they're doing a Hellraiser series to expand the mythology. And they're also doing a reboot movie on Hulu. So there's 2 projects floating out there. But if they did a Hellraiser anthology, I think it could work. We're just exploring different people's obsession with pleasure and pain and experience in this box, right? Yeah. This would fit into something like that. If this was just an hour-long episode of something with that twist, I think I would have enjoyed it. I think more people would have enjoyed this movie if it wasn't a Hellraiser film. I fucking like this movie. I don't know why. I like this movie. 3.5 you digs from me. Jelani, what do you think?
Trash. This is the same damn movie. It's like they watched the Scott Derrickson movie and were like, hey, can we make the same movie, but make the guy trashier and have some tits in it? And that was just, oh.
I don't think there are any tatas in this movie. There's the tease of it.
There's some some nibble slabble.
You watched the PG version?
Yeah, you must watch that extra version. You're like, I found this one.
Yeah, I watched it on PBS.
It's hot garbage. This is hot garbage. Kirsty is absolutely wasted in this film. Why would she even date him? Knowing her, I know she has got bad taste in men because they all died.
Well, yes, with a well-developed character of Kirsty.
Yeah, he knows Kirsty really well.
No. This is what you don't know is that when she met Dean Winters' character, he was smoking a cigarette and he flipped it into his mouth and then back out again. And
then sooner than later, she was like, "Oop, that's all I need."
That's what happened. And she's like, "Well, he's not seeking out a hell demon, and he's not my uncle,
deal breaker,
and he's got skin."
Yeah,
nice magic trick.
Let's keep it around, and let's pretend that there's a car accident, and let's pretend that he's waking up all the time, and he's like, "I don't know what's going on," and I love how the doctor
he doesn't know what's going on though, bro. He doesn't know what's going on.
It's the same damn movie. It's the last movie.
Let me interrupt for a moment. One thing I do like is that he is this douchebag character, right? But he has amnesia. He's reverted back to before he became a douchebag, right?
That's a lame trope of amnesia. Okay.
I like the idea that he is I like the idea that he's like, I love my wife. I would I like
his descent into madness.
It's a good vision of a personal hell for me because he starts off back at the point where he's in love with Kirsty. He's sad that she died, and he slowly finds out that he's the douchebag.
He's the one that's been doing it.
Yeah.
But it shows this trope that will happen in another movie that I can't stand. See, what Kirsty does in this film, she's like, she's like, I opened the configuration. All right, awesome. And then Pinhead comes out. He's like, I'm gonna kill you now. And no change to the face, but I'm gonna kill you now. And she's like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna give you 5 souls. You let me go. And he's like, all right. And just lets her go.
That doesn't work in the other films, though. Like in the next film, they tried that and it doesn't work.
It tries this lame ass trope that happens the rest of these movies where they're just like, can I give these people to you and you just leave me alone? They're like, fuck no. And chains come out and grab them. I'm like, it's so stupid. I hate it. I fucking hate it. This movie was just like the last movie. I get, except this one pissed me off more because it had Kirsty in it. So I get 1.5.
1
garbage.
I do want to disclose. That I got a random text message one time from Jelani over the last couple of weeks that just went, I hate these last Hellraiser movies. They're all the same damn movie. So, I mean, you're right, though, bro. You're 100% right. And you're right to give this a 1.5. But I like it. What about you, Jay Strick? What do you think about Hellseeker?
I had some issues with Hellseeker. I don't even know where to start. Like, I guess I'll start with Mayhem. I just can't believe that Mayhem is fucking multiple chicks in this movie. That wouldn't happen.
Handsome dude.
No. Adam Scott, I can get behind. Mayhem?
Yeah. No.
Mayhem? No.
He ain't got no game like that.
He's not got game like that. No.
He's getting Liz Lemon at 30 Rock. No,
weird stretch with the haggling with the souls, because I think like they have an obsession with her, and they keep saying that.
They opened it twice.
It's like, oh, we got you now, but she's like, no, I'll give you 5, and he's like, all right, bet. Like,
I think it works. I think it works for Kirsty because I think he honestly has a level of respect for her, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead, though.
Rival.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was a weird stretch. What's up with the cops? They're both the same cop, and he's just on the back of his head. What was that all about?
That's weird.
Yeah, that's a weird stretch, right?
That CG was terrible.
For some reason, they're like, let's do some really crude, bad CG of 2 heads combining. Like, that's going to be cool, right?
And we're both demons. Surprise! You've been hell. Pull the sheet. Let's pull the sheet off. Oh my God, it's me!
Okay, and I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but for a franchise I love. But I was watching this one, and I was like, "Oh, this is the first time there's actually like a black actor." Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, for real. Like,
and he was trash.
Turns out he was half white.
Yeah, turns out he was. Oh my God,
trash. Rick Boda, you can fall off a cliff, dog.
It's I did like the Kirsty being kind of edgy at the end. I thought that was cool.
She still has that smoky eye, man. How does she do that?
It's a weird stretch though. The whole video camera with her, and then he's open the box, and it's just like what? Like what?
You want me to open this box? Fine, I'll open the box.
This movie is so bad. You're right, but I love it, man.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5. I won't go 1. Yeah,
Christ.
Yeah.
Christ. Ugh.
2.5. That's nice. What about you, Brooks? I am dying to know what you. And by the way, Fable said 2. You digs, and BJ says 2.5. So, yeah, that's a good representation. This was the middle of the road. Speaking of middle of the road, Brooks, what do you think?
I thought this one was all right. It had some, like, I thought the story was pretty good with, like you said, the guy not remembering and realizing like how bad of a person he was. But and it has some cool imagery in it too.
Yeah, like
most Hellraiser movies do. But I don't think it's as good as Inferno. It's pretty middle of the road for me. I give it a 3.
3.
Trey.
All right.
And weird stretch to make a deal with your best friend to like kill your wife, take the money. Like that's never gonna work. Whatever.
It seemed like it was an abandoned subplot of the American version of The Office because it was too much.
Yeah,
you know,
too edgy.
I don't know. I do still like the idea that like I don't think that the character is unrelatable because the whole movie, he's like, no, I do like her. And it's maybe this is just telling on me and my personality, but sometimes I think I'm a better person than I actually am. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that this is what it's trying to say.
You all
Anyway,
right, dog. Damn.
3.5 for me.
You're worth it, young man.
You're worth
It's
it.
just forget everything you know.
You ain't
about
trash.
yourself.
For Hellseeker, 3.5 from me, 1.5 from Jelani, 2.5, and then from Jay Strick, and a 3 from Brooks. Let's move on to Deader. Deader is this one's from 2005. It's also by Rick Boda, and I'll be honest with you, man. I kind of like this one too. I think it's okay, but I liked this one more until I watched it this time. When I watched it this time, I was like, all right, this is done. I think here's the thing. What's her name? Is it Carrie Word? Yeah, Carrie Word. I grew up in the 90s watching Cinemax at night and shit.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, I like her. So I think there was a piece of me that likes this movie because she's in it. Okay? Man, watching this movie as a 40-year-old, this movie's kind of dumb. This whole idea, this dude's like, he's a descendant of the Marchant. Remember that, right? And he's started this cult who they're a suicide cult, but he can resurrect them because once again, the mattress is blessed with demonic semen and blood, basically, right? So, man, I wanted to like this movie again because I always have liked this movie, and I think it's because I like Carrie Ware. But this movie is not good. It did not hold up for me this time. It's got some moments where it's trying, her past with her father or whatever. But it doesn't feel like it's authentic. It just feels like it's like exploitative of trauma, right? And then like the idea that she kills herself at the end to like elude pinheads. Like I don't know. I'm giving it 2.5. I would have given this one higher before. I would have given Bloodline lower. I would have given this one higher. But this time, this one doesn't work for me. And this is the first time where I truly believe that my experience of enjoying these films started faltering. And it doesn't get much better.
Took Deader, really.
Deader. I don't really like that much anymore.
Really.
So I'll give it 2.5. What do you think, Jelani? Of the finale of the Rick Boda trilogy.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what did they say? Carrie Ward is great. She's a great character in this film. Because of the trauma, it is stolen from her. But still, it's still a script to keep the rights from Hellraiser. And let me go back though and say that the knife scene in her back, I do like that scene a lot. It's grinching, it's cringy, it gets to you. But I still feel like, even though that scene exists in this film, I hate the LaMarche guy. He's trash. I hate the suicide cult premise. I hate they gotta go to Paris to deal with this. Or not Paris. Where were they? Bucharest.
Yeah.
God, it was. I hate the location. Yeah.
I like the Eastern European location.
Yeah,
I think it fits. I think it actually fits.
Could have. It does, but not in the context of this film. That's what I'm saying. That would have been this would have been great in a better Hellraiser film that we could have seen years before this. That's how bad it is.
Like if Eli Roth did it instead of Hostel. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, that'd been awesome. So, I mean, it's got its moments, but still, it's like, but with the last two films, but this time, let's make it a girl. And now she's investigating stuff. Oh, God. And then we slap Pinhead in it. And I'm like, oh, God, these are getting crazier. All right. This is better than the Boda trilogy. This is the best of the Boda trilogy, though. I will give you that.
Really?
So I give for me, because that last piece of crap was a piece of crap. And that piece of shit before it was goddamn. So we're just going to give this one will get a decent 2. You'll get a 2.
A 2. Okay.
Two deader.
That's I think it's more than fair for that film. What about you, Jay Strick?
Okay. Again, I like this franchise a lot. This one's hard for me because like there's elements that I like. What was the actor? I liked her in it. The Carrie
Ward.
Carrie Ward.
I thought she was good.
She was in a lot of like Cinemax softcore type stuff.
Yeah.
I
it's Sliders, man. She's in Sliders.
A bit earlier.
She's in Sliders till she's crazy as fuck too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just look up Carrie Wurr on Conan O'Brien on YouTube and see what happens.
Oh God.
I'm just gonna say.
Okay, so anyways, I like the opening bit in this movie with the videotape, and they're like, she's watching it and like, what's going on? Again,
that's an unnerving scene, dude, when you're watching that footage because it looks like it
real.
is. Yeah.
But it was a weird stretch that he was descended of. I don't know how you're going to tie that all together, but whatever.
You can't. And he doesn't look like that other guy.
But there's elements
I
like the train scene where she goes there and then she comes back and then they're all dead. Like I thought that was interesting. Like
all the train stuff was awesome.
Train was cool. Yeah. That kid's running around in there. That was nuts. That thing was peddling.
It's probably the most nudity in a Hellraiser film.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I actually like the location. I don't know.
Oh dang!
Weird stretch for her to kill herself at the end. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you live your life.
I think they were trying to thematically tie it into the idea of the suicide cult or something and empowerment. I came up with an idea for a story one time where the resolution was that suicide was the answer, and that's just a terrible. Actually, nobody should write that story. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Thank you. Yeah, you get canceled.
I want to give it like a higher score, but
you're so twisted about this. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know why this one twisted me.
Like Pinhead is in the corner right now, like the sweet suffering.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I'll give it a 3.
Whoa,
3 dicks.
3 for Deader. Wow. I wasn't expecting that high of a score for this one. Now I
really like that train scene, bro.
The train stuff is amazing. Like I'm not even kidding. Like all the train stuff
is pretty good.
It was a weird stretch to bring them all there at the end, and then like they all died. But
dude, I love that. Guy, he brings a giant. Pinhead's like killing 10 people at a time, bro. I love that shit, man. All right, but he's just like killing them though. He should be torturing them.
This one's a little confusing. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
They slapped Pinhead at the end.
3 was too high, but it's Horror Fest, baby.
What about you? What about you, Brooks?
I actually kind of like this one too.
Hey,
I think it's mostly I find the character is more likable than any of the other protagonists.
That's true.
So like it's actually like you can actually enjoy like watching her try her her curiosity is kind of just leading her through this story, and I like this weird kind of underground like thing that's going on with these kind of outcast kids are just like. Because that was like a big thing back in the 90s is like all these kids who just do nothing but fucking party, and there's the idea of this weird scene where all these kids just do all this weird freaky shit. But I thought this movie was all right. I'd give it a 3.5. I think for me it's above average a little bit.
Okay, I like it.
Wow,
I am so glad that we're doing this Hellraiser review because this is wild. This is wild.
The craziest freaking scores.
This is wild. All right, same year, 2005, we get Hellraiser Hellworld, another movie that was written not as a Hellraiser film, and then they threw Hellraiser in there. And in fact, Pinhead never actually appears in the movie until the very, very end, like in most of these. But like most of the time you see Pinhead, it's actually an illusion, Michael. This one's got Lance Hendrickson in it. It looks good. It's shot very well. It's got apparently Ezekiel from Walking Dead in it. It's got Superman in it, getting his dick sucked in the middle of this Hellworld club. In case you were
the
just
goofiest face you'll ever see.
No shit. Like that's the face everybody makes.
Superman got a fuck face.
I fucking hate this movie. It's so stupid. All right, so Hellraiser is now a World of Warcraft type game, right?
Is it meta? Is it? So these movies
RPG.
happened in this world.
I guess. I don't know, man. It's just
it didn't happen.
It's some kind of MMORPG type thing.
No, the
Or
game
like
is real.
primitive version.
So the game is real
Yeah,
because okay, here's the thing. This whole group of friends are into this game, super hardcore. One of them is so into it, he kills himself, right? And so the movie starts with that, and then they get invited to this party, like by the designers of the game.
They have to open the puzzle box.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you got to open the puzzle box online.
By the way, do we ever see any game footage of this game? No, because they didn't have the fucking budget.
Just mostly this. It's just the
it's the start menu, bro.
On the screen.
Yeah,
you just shows Pinhead.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so they go to this. They go to this house. They start getting picked off one by one.
Early on.
And then it turns out that all of it's in their heads. They're having a shared vision because they're actually buried alive, being tortured by Lance Hendrickson, who's the father of the kid that killed himself. And he blames them. They all die except for the last two. What the fuck ever. This movie's so stupid. It's got a hint of a good idea. It really does.
Pinhead actually shows up, right?
He does show up at the end like normal because for some fucking reason, this dude's dad gets the actual fucking lament configuration
and opens it
and just opens it up in his motel room when what the fuck ever. To you, Diggs. It's got a nugget of a good idea, but it's sad that this is how Doug Bradley's Pinhead goes out. It saddens me.
Yeah, it is.
I don't like this movie, but I will watch it again. I'll give it to you, Diggs. What about you, Delaney?
I will never watch this film again. This is trash. This is under the trash. Dog, look, it's such a poor story. It's the funeral of the kid, and the asshole best friend comes in, and everybody's like, he's an asshole. And then he's an asshole the whole rest of the movie, and then he survives. I'm like, fuck you. First of all, then
he smashes the
smashes a girl. He smashes some random girl, but then you find out it's been all in his head. And this is the worst part. I hate this. Pinhead is a slasher in this movie. He actually chops someone's head off, and he chops the Teen Titans. That guy plays the voice for Cyborg in Teen Titans, and chopped his head off. The other
I actually like that bit though.
Yeah,
that bit looks cool. But it's all in his head, bro. That never happened.
But it reduces.
How is it all in their head? That doesn't even
it reduces Pinhead to a slasher monster, and he's not. And it gives the impression that he's a slasher monster when he's not. He's an extra dimensional being that's either an angel or a demon. And
Doug Bradley refers to him as an impartial judge.
Yeah, he's like neutral. He's neutral in his evil. He's not a slasher.
In those first movies, it's just you open the box. So
you open the box, I come and get you.
This is what you get.
Open the box, I got you. You're mine. Or I give you, and now we down to bargaining.
In these last few movies, he does become more of the Spectre or something, where he's like, God's placement of vengeance or something like that against the sinners or something. It's weird.
And it's so bad. It's so poorly made. I hate every character. Even Lance Hendrickson. Lance Hendrickson at least is trying.
What's up with his earring? He's got that earring.
I don't know. I don't.
Early 2000s, man.
How is this man? Okay, first of all, he neglects his son by never seeing him. Then his son finally dies. Then he's like, oh, now I found his friends, and I blame his friends for his death. So now I'm going to buy a house, buy a game, make people.
He was throwing a dope ass party, bro. I'm just gonna say that.
It was
badass party. Threw a badass party.
I'd go to that party.
Were those people dead? Are they not there? I don't care.
It was a real party.
So so you're getting ahead and whatever. You get free cell phones. Awesome. So it's just so dumb. It's just so poorly contrived. I didn't know if it was meta. So these kids, these dumb kids, have been watching Hellraiser movies, and now all of a sudden there's like a fucking thing now where we go to a party and celebrate Hellraiser, shit, bitch, and then he actually exists in this world too.
Bro,
and I'm like,
imagine the movie in between where it's Pinhead going to like the patent office to patent and copyright this video game or some shit, right?
Imagine him like in a boardroom with the rest of the Cenobites. It's like, we risk becoming irrelevant. Online gaming is the future.
Yeah, that's what it was. I thought if they opened with configuration on the online, that means the chains will come out of the computer. That's what I was waiting on. I was like, shit.
Pinhead had shit to do with it, man.
Yeah, so it's a terrible film. It's worse than that last one, or the one I gave 1.5. So I give this a 1. This is horrible. Henry Cavill is well,
he shines in this.
He shines in this. He is pretty decent in this.
He got something shined in it.
He got something shined.
Hey.
So I mean, it's a film that happened that I watched. So 1.
One you dig. This is the lowest rated one from Jelani so far. Lowest rated one from me. What do you think, Jay Strick?
I like this franchise, man.
Always preface with what's the problem, man?
I don't know. Okay, I'm just saying. Here, stick with me. You take out, like, let's switch the RPG thing, World of Warcraft thing, and let's say it's modern day and they're playing PlayStation. That could work, right? All right, let's not do the whole fake out. Take that bit out, the whole fake out at the end where it's not really real. They're in the coffins. Make it just like a slasher-esque. Pinhead's actually in the house and he's offing everyone one by one.
No.
I watched the shit out of that. I don't know. I like parts of this movie, the people getting got one by one, all the weird stretches in between. Like, I don't know why they chose the random douchebag friend to be like the survivor, because he wasn't really likable at all. Like, he was kind of asshole. He was an asshole to him at the funeral. He was an asshole. He was to when they showed up.
How did you get invited to this? Sorry.
I don't know.
He was meeting a date there, remember?
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care.
It was just him. What's his face, right? I am him.
Yeah. Catherine Winnick's in this, and she's like a freaking ninja and grab people's hands, flip. And, oh God, shut up, stupid movie. Sorry.
It's a weird stretch, man. Pinhead at the end, yeah, I'll give it like a 2.5.
2.5.
2.5 you digs.
That main chick's pretty smoking. The blonde.
Catherine Winnick. Yeah.
Is that her? Yeah.
Yeah, from Vikings.
I've never seen Vikings. I've never seen it. All right. Brooks, what do you think?
It's not good.
There's something about it, though, right?
There is something about it. Like, I don't hate it.
I don't either.
I hate it. I freaking hate it.
Mostly because I'm just thinking about how, Pinhead like programming the game.
Yeah.
Let's find the most evil slimy people. Online gaming.
The computer. He's got his coffee next to him. His eyes are all bloodshot.
He's like, these servers are causing me suffering.
I hate
love it.
This is truly hell.
Jesus Christ.
That's why they started going to karaoke with Jerry and Rick.
Oh yeah.
I give this one a 2.5. I think it's a little below average, but it still has its
fun.
It has its
fun.
bits,
2.5.
Lance Hendrickson was there for the check.
Our buddy Blake that we work with was, after he watched Hellworld, he goes, I'm watching it, and I'm like, Lance Hendrickson seems good in it, or else he's bad and everyone else is just really, really bad. So 2 from me, 1 from Jelani, 2.5 and 2 from Jay Strick and Brooks for a we'll call that a 2.069. Let's do that. All right. Now we're going in.
Here we go.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw.
To Revelations. Revelations.
Oh, God.
The first movie without Doug Bradley. Who is the name? I don't even remember the name of the guy.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Here's the thing.
It does not matter.
This movie fucking sucks. Yeah. This movie sucks bad.
Legitimately, I think it's one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
Bruh, so like somehow some paperwork got lost, I guess. I don't fucking know. And they were like, fuck, dude, we're going to lose the Hellraiser rights in like fucking 2 weeks. And they were like, fuck, how much money we got in petty cash? And they're like, 300 G's. And they're like, let's make a fucking Hellraiser movie.
Son of a bitch. I'm in.
It's like if the worst of MTV when they tried to do drama. Do you remember that when they had that Undressed show and shit?
Yeah.
It's like the people that made Undressed got 300 G's, and they were like,
just make a move.
and then they were like, holy shit, we just struck it big and got the writer of All My Children. Holy fucking shit! This is a melodramatic soap opera piece of fucking shit that doesn't even commit to being a found fucking footage movie. This movie fucking sucks. It starts out, we're going to Mexico to fuck hookers. It's like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? And they try to do, plot-wise, they just do the exact same fucking thing they tried to do in the first one.
In the first movie,
they bring a dude back. He switches his skin, but like when Frank switched his skin, it was obvious. It's like, bruh, you know, this dude just looks like normal. And it's literally one of the worst fucking performances I've ever seen. The Pinhead in this movie. What the fuck is this? Why did
he's just like hiding in the box?
You got the fucking
like
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and put him in some fucking leather and he's Pinhead? I don't understand what the fuck is going on. It's terrible. The voice is terrible. This movie fucking sucks. One, you dig. Why? Because it's a Hellraiser movie. One, you dig. One. That's it. One. I should go lower. I'm going changing it. I'm going 0.5 you digs on this movie. This is a piece of shit. This movie sucks.
Wow.
What do you think, Delaney?
0.5. Wow.
Have
you ever given a 0.5?
I have never given a 0.5.
He has never given one. No. This movie is a waste of your time and effort. Like if you want to see a parody of a Hellraiser film, you watch this. But I wouldn't watch it because it's so utterly like devoid of intelligence or reasoning. It's like I don't know who. Like I think it was Gary Sutcliffe or the guy that he wrote it, and he didn't direct it, but he wrote it, and it doesn't feel like it's like he loves Hellraiser. But he wants to copy the first one. Let's copy the first one in weird ways. Let's make it found footage with these two jackasses. Let's make the families unlikable. Let's make everyone unlikable. The only good part about this movie to me was the Cenobite that was Michael or the other boy that was like Hellraiser Jr.
Oh, you mean
Jr.?
Hold on. Because you're right. Because first of all, we have fake Pinhead in this movie, which is because it's not Doug Bradley. Pinhead. Then we have another fucking Pinhead.
We have a Pinhead Jr.
That shit's so stupid. Fucking mini Pinhead. Mini fucking Pinhead is in this movie. Fuck this movie.
Yeah, he had the skin of his victims and all this stupid bullshit. Everybody dies stupid. Everybody that's there should have died. Everybody, even the girl at the end, I'm like, ain't she kissing her brother? And I'm like,
she's hot though. She's hot.
Yeah.
And then they do the whole like, oh, we're just like, oh, you're sleeping around on your wife with your son's best friend's wife. Like, what the fuck is even going on in this movie?
It's so bad. It's so fucking terrible. I suggest no one watch it. It's a parody, a shell of itself. I know they were trying to keep rights with this bullshit. I give this, I'm agree with you, Robbie. 0.5 you digs. Actually, that's what I was gonna give it. That's what's gonna give it, but then you changed your score to it, and I was like, damn it, that's what I give it. It is garbage. It is hot, steaming piles of raggedy garbage. It's worse than the Rick Boda trilogy. It's worse than most things that I've seen in my life. It is terrible. Please don't watch this film.
This movie is a good example of why I like Hellseeker. Fable agrees this movie is hot garbage. TM Nerdy says 5 you digs. I haven't watched it. I just want to go against the curve. And I respect that from Travis. What about you, Jay Strick? What do you think about Revelations?
Bruh, I really like the Hellraiser franchise. But seriously, this is like top 3 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's not even like
It's like 2 days in the valley bad, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it's like
it's not even like, you know, when you watch a dumb movie and it's like funny, like it's like a bad movie and it's funny though.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
This is such a
it's so
show.
bad. It's just bad because like the acting is like god awful, and I didn't understand what they were. I don't understand. Like, why are you making out with your brother even though it's not really your brother?
You know that's not your brother.
But you think it's your brother, and we're just not going to address that.
let's just like give her credit. She did stop it before it went further. She did get her.
She got
grabbed,
fucked up.
but,
That's taking it a little too far, I think.
I mean, I agree, bro.
When your brother grabs your breasts, you need to
I gave
stop.
this a 0.5. Okay,
It's freaking awful.
this is the lowest rated movie I've ever talked about here.
This movie is like shit.
I gave Game of
franchise.
Death a better score than this one, and Game of Death is the most fucking offensive movie I've ever fucking seen.
This is like so disrespectful to everything that Hellraiser is.
Doug Bradley
Also,
was good to leave this shit.
The fact that this is the one where he got offered like $500 to come back, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they
I'm
had
so glad he
300K
did-
to make it, right?
I'm so glad he did not take the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is a fan film gone wrong.
This
I
is like
genuinely hate
watching
this.
Reggie.
Like, why?
This is
why
like
is
seeing. This is like seeing Reggie Bannister in Phantasm 5. We're just like,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
bro.
Well,
no.
it's worse than this. It's because what is
It's worse
happening?
than Phantasm 5. You're right, bro.
What is happening? Like, why did he kill the girl in the stall? Like, did he just get too horny and then just like threw her head into? Like, what's happening? Why is
laughed
the
at
hobo
him
guy
because I'm buddies
at the
with him.
house? And why did he gut the dad?
Why is the hobo guy? Why are the cars gone? Who took the cars? Why are the cars moved? Who the fuck did that? Why is this movie a thing? Why was there found footage? And then like she couldn't, the sister never could watch the videotapes, but then all of a sudden finds the videotapes. What? Why is this movie? Why is this movie? It's
You
so
realize
weird.
there's only 2 locations in this movie too, right?
Yeah,
it's
the
just-
house in Mexico.
The house and the
And the-
Mexican
And the
bar.
bar.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where's
And-
Letty, Dom?
Where's Letty?
Where's Letty?
This makes Fast 9 look like goddamn Citizen Kane, bro.
It does.
Yeah.
Because you just like John Cena's better than anything in Hellraiser 9.
I respect John Cena. I saw him.
I didn't know. I don't know, man. It's hard to believe that this is a movie.
What is this movie?
Can you give-
What is this movie?
Can you give a 0?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving this a 0. Like, I seriously recommend you don't watch this movie because
Do
it's an
not watch
absolute waste of fucking time.
Do
And it's
not
only like an hour. Dead
It's an
ass.
hour and 15.
You take out
Hour
like the
15 minutes.
well, you
It-
take
it's
out
like,
the,
feels
extra,
like 3.
the end credits in the beginning. Like it's basically an hour.
Yeah,
So,
you're
like,
right.
You could do anything else.
God, it's
Yeah,
trash.
they literally threw this movie together in 2 weeks because they were like, fuck.
I'm
Do you
giving
know
it-
we're about to lose the
Boy.
Hellraiser rights? It's about to go to Clyde Barker.
Just
We can't
cast-
let that happen, can we?
Who did they
so
get
sad.
for this like great value freaking pinhead? God
Yeah,
dang it.
it's worse than that. I don't know.
And
what
what
to
the
call it.
sad thing
He's
is,
a Dollar General.
the sad thing is, that dude was really pumped to play this role.
I'm
But
sure
he,
was.
he wasn't giving
Unfortunately,
shit. He wasn't giving shit to work. Dude, he looks fucking terrible.
He looks terrible.
Anyway, Brooks, I am very eager to know what you think about Revelations.
I kind of liked it. I'm kidding. I don't like this movie.
I was
You
like,
actually
bro.
fooled me.
This movie's pretty bad.
I was like, I literally
Patient.
can't.
This movie is like the acting is so bad and like it's just basically kind of a rehash of the first movie
Mhm. That's all
in a
it
lot
is.
of ways, but like the characters are all so bad and like the only like word I can think of to aptly describe this movie is just cringy. Like through most of the movie, I just like it's like it's
It
you know,
feels like
Hellraiser,
2 hours.
like it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable in a way, but this one like was doing it the wrong way. It's just like it's just a really bad bunch of melodrama. I give it 0.5 too.
A 0.5. All right, so that's a 0.5 from Brooks, me, and Jelani, and a
What is the
0.
revelation in this movie too?
I don't fucking.
Yeah,
the rebel-
The revelations that everybody's fucking each other.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I honestly, I think that's what it is, right? Okay. So 0.5 from me, Jay Strick. I mean, from me, Jelani and Brooks, and a 0 from Jay Strick for, let's just say, a negative 0.69. Let's just say that.
Terrible film. Terrible fucking
Now we're moving on to the final Hellraiser film. Thank God, or
Well-
not. You know, do I look like someone who cares what God thinks? I actually do. But anyway, so this is 2018. This is kind of a recent film. I'll tell you this. The guy that plays Pinhead in this film is actually way better than the last guy. Okay?
Sure.
It looks better.
He's got more to work with too.
He's got more to work with. It looks better. It sounds better. Now, the Gary guy, what's his name? Gary
Sutcliffe.
Turnicliffe? Or whatever? Yeah.
Turnicliffe. I
So
keep getting his name wrong.
He wrote that last
sorry,
one.
dude.
One of the worst movies we've ever reviewed here. And this one, honestly, aside from like the first Hellraiser film, this has the best fucking first 15 minutes of any Hellraiser film. I love it. The auditor, the fucking
Creepy
dude,
as hell.
the dude that's
The dude
like
that eats it.
the dude that's eating it, like the big
women.
chested fucking women that are like sourcing through the vomit. This is one of the grossest movies I've ever fucking seen. I'm watching parts of this movie when they're pouring the spit in that dude's mouth. I'm just like, this movie was effective. It has some really great premises. And you're right, Jelani. The Auditor is like the best Cenobite outside of that original first 4 movies or whatever. Like super solid and cool, right? Or the best Cenobite outside of from 6 on, I would say, because I like the twins with the skin.
I like the twins too. And I like the twins, and I like the chatterer that walks.
That's in Inferno. Inferno. Without the legs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Bro, that's fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And what is Pinhead's obsession with chatterers? Like they always got to make a chattering Cenobite. And remember the one?
It was a kid.
What's the
Until
one?
it was a kid.
Is it in part 4 or is it in part 5 where he has the one that he made a dog?
The chatterer dog was in 4.
It's
Bloodline.
4.
It's 4?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. All right.
It's Bloodline.
This one works on a lot of levels and doesn't work on a lot of levels. The detective story is just like spoilers. Spiral that just came out, not the Adam Green one, but the Saw movie with Chris Rock. 2 detectives hunting down a serial killer. Spoilers, one of them is the serial killer. And I never felt connected to that story whatsoever. I was way more interested in what they were doing with the auditing and all that shit. Like that was interesting to me, but the rest of it just fell flat. But I actually think that overall, Judgment is a solid ending for a shit franchise. I mean, I'll be honest. I love this franchise, just like Jay says. I love these movies. I do. But like there's a lot of wasted opportunity outside of in the second half of this franchise, in my opinion.
Bloodline could have like built the bridge to good films. But like so much studio interference started all this shit.
Exactly. This though redeems the last one just a little bit. I hate the addition of angels. I hate when their hell is the literal like Christian hell. I don't like that. I don't like the angels in there. I don't like the ending. Basically, the ending is Pinhead kills an angel, and God is like, well, God's going to punish you. He's like, I welcome the suffering, but they make him mortal again. And the movie literally ends appropriately enough for this entire franchise with Pinhead stripped of all of his identity as a vagrant on the streets of Los Angeles, where there's so much opulence and people fucking movie franchises in the ass, right? And he's there on the streets of this world, forgotten, because that's where Hellraiser wound up.
You should be trying to sell a script,
right?
Hey, check out my script.
It's a sad and a tragic ending for reasons more outside of the actual story of the movie, because this movie does have potential, okay, but it doesn't live up to it. But it is better than the last ones.
Yeah.
I'll give it 3. You digs? I'll give it 3 because I think it's okay. What do you think, Jelani? It was surprisingly okay for me. Like, honestly.
I will say this. As the budget's lowered and all those things happened and all the craziness of that last piece of shit, This kind of makes up for that last one because I suffered through that last one. That was true freaking Hellraiser suffering to try to watch that film. So for this to happen immediately after me following, because my bar now it was at that point was like, I'm done with this. These are fan films by now. This is Phantasm 5. We're doing Steadicam. It is just so weird. But then you get to this one, and I kind of like the serial killer story. I don't know why. I like that there. I wish they'd expounded more upon it because like the angel does come in and say, this has to stop. I don't like the fact that they're not extra dimensional demons, that it is Christian hell. I don't like that at all. I didn't think, but at the same time, I liked that there was another opposing force that shows up to challenge Pinhead. So I kind of liked that aspect of it, but I hated that it was an angel. I don't know what it was about it, but it was off-putting to me. I like how, matter of fact, the serial killer, the serial killer's brother, and like his wife that was cheating on him with each other. I like how easily they were just like, bye. You get chained up. You get chained up and fucked up. I love that stuff. Yeah, I loved it. I don't know why. I just felt like it was just like, you're throwaway people. Oh yeah, I want to trade these people for my soul. And it's like, nah, son. I love how it doesn't work no more. It's like, you ain't Kirsty. So it's a mixed bag for me. This Pinhead guy, the new Pinhead guy is I liked him. He was very servant. He looked the part. Not only did he look the part, it looks like they actually like expounded on the outfit to make it look like it's Pinhead, but it's not the Pinhead that we knew. But I get it,
and the voice was there, and that regality.
He felt like he had a presence. He had a real presence
on that throne,
and I liked him. Everything about him and the Cenobites in this, the Auditor, I should say. The Auditor, of course, is my favorite character. But out of that, because I don't know, it's the director. It's the director of the film playing the Auditor. Yeah. And he does his own makeup, and he gives the story of how he loved these films so much, and of course he did the makeup for most of these films. This one is pretty gross. The throw up, the spit, it's uncomfortable. I think they went like a little too far that direction. I don't know. It wasn't body horror. It was just more so just gross, and you don't need gross out horror. Not throw up. And we gotta play in it, It's just we lick you clean, and then you drop the spit back in your mouth. That's gross as hell.
I was like really getting grossed out by that, bro. And I watch plenty of shit while eating spaghetti, and I'm cool. Yeah, but that one fucked me up, man.
How does that work?
The spit. I was just like, because then it got all like, bubbly and foamy. Oh my god,
it's so gross. And there's just certain things that don't need to be there, but. I still think it's a good watch. I think it's of the last like 5. It's enjoyable to me. It was the most enjoyable to me. Like it go right behind Bloodline, and where it goes. So I'll give this one a 3 too. I like it. I like it. It's. They're trying to return to form with it. The ending is kind of dumb. I don't like how they depower him because he killed an angel. Oh, that's kind of stupid, and I do hate that it's Christian hell and not Leviathan from a different dimension. You don't play that up anywhere. And I understand what he was trying to do, and the guy means well, but all in all, it's a step up from what we've been treated to. So I'll give it a 3.
That's true. What about you, Jay Strick?
Judgment's a weird one for me because there's a lot of interesting concepts in this one that I really like. So I think if you take away the whole angel bit and you make the brothers not brothers and do something different and make him not the killer, the detective, I think you got a pretty solid movie. I think if you focus more on the auditor stuff and give me a little more of Pinhead and that kind of world, that room interested me. He was sitting on that throne and he got the twins back there. I thought that was hella fun. I thought the whole auditor thing was crazy. Like I had never seen anything like that in a movie. I was like, what the hell is going on? It was creeped me out, and it's gross. It's grotesque. But I was there for it. It was like interesting. I was like, I want to see more of this. This is weird as hell. I'll give Judgment a 3.5. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Oh, a 3.5.
Yeah.
Rather respectable. Speaking of respectable, what about you, Brooks?
I actually like this movie. And a lot of it has to do with like the idea of Pinhead as kind of a bureaucrat. It's like Pinhead has a desk job now. And I like the kind of the gross, weird judgment process that everyone has to go through. I thought it was pretty clever that they had the lead go through that, and then something goes wrong, and you're like, wait, like, is it because he's too good, or is it because he's bad? And then it turns out he was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'd like to see like an office style comedy show with like Pinhead as like Steve Carell's character sitting there with his best boss mug.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd give this one a 4, I think.
Holy shit.
Okay.
You like that?
I mean, I understand it. I get it.
Well, it definitely seems like we think it ends on a stronger note. It's the strongest movie the last 5, it seems like, from us.
Yeah.
So, all right. We're going to recap real quick. The first Hellraiser film, I gave it a 4.5. Jelani gave it a 4.5. J Strick gave it a 5. Brooks gave it a 4.5. The second one, I gave it a 3. Jelani a 4. J Strick a 3. Brooks a 4. For part 3, I gave it a 3.5. Jelani gave it a 5. J Strick gave it a 4. Brooks gave it a 1.5. For Bloodline part 4, I did 3.5. Jelani did 3.5. J Strick did 2.5. And Brooks did 3. For Inferno, I did 4. Jelani did 2. J Strick did 3.5. And Brooks gave it a 4. For part 6, Hellseeker, I gave it an astonishing 3.5. Jelani a 1.5. J Strick a 2.5. Brooks a 3. For part 7, Deader, I did 2.5. So did Jelani. He changed it once he realized it had more nudity than he remembered. And then J Strick did 3, and Brooks did 3.5. Hellworld, I did 2. Jelani did 1. J Strick did 2.5, and so did Brooks. For 9, which is the worst one, I gave it a 0.5, and so did Brooks and Jelani, and J Strick gave it 0. And for Judgment, me and Jelani gave it a 3, J Strick a 3.5, and Brooks a 4.0. So there you go. That is the Hellraiser movies. Real quick, though, what's the whole franchise about? What's the theme overall about Hellraiser, Jelani?
Suffering. No, it's a lot more than that. I think it's like the curiosity to know more, and then finding out you get more than you bargained for.
Yeah.
Because originally Frank just wanted higher heights. He thought he was going to gain sexual gratification in the form of, because he satiated all of his appetites in one sitting, and he wanted more, and he wanted to push the boundaries, and he found this cube. This guy gives it to him, and I think that it's him wanting to push those limits, and then finding out that there is something that he did not want. And I think the whole series is kind of that's supposed to be that kind of theme, but it breaks up into different things. People trying to find what, try to push beyond their limits in some form or fashion. That's what I think it's about. That and,
Sex.
Pinhead's awesome in sex.
Pinhead's awesome in sex. What about you, J Strick? What's the movies? What are they about?
I think there's a bunch of things you can take away from it. One of the most quotable lines, right, is "We have such sights to show you." I don't know. When I hear that line, it's crazy because like you can kind of go deep with that, right? Like anything you dive into, whatever it be, something crazy, you know, normal, whatever, you know, history, you go down deep down that hole, right? Like it could get pretty nasty. You might like it. I don't know, you know? So I don't know. It's, I don't know where I was going with that thought. I had a thought train there.
Thought train wrecked.
Bruh.
Man, Pinhead's awesome. Sex.
Revelations fucked me up. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Brooks? What's it all about?
Well, I think it's kind of about how, like, you know, the concept of what we see as hell is kind of a very personal thing, you know. It's like we make our own hells, like, you know, it's easy to think of like the generic torture kind of thing, but I think it's like, especially in the later movies, one thing they do kind of do is delve into like the psychological idea of that, like that hell is like what you believe you deserve in a way, I guess. And Pinhead's just kind of there to, you know, to make that a reality for you.
Very nicely put. Very nicely put, everybody. To me, it's obviously about pushing boundaries and how dangerous that can be, right? It's about the unknown and wanting to explore that and how dangerous that can be. It's very Lovecraftian at times, especially those first two movies about that in particular. There are these forces out there, whether they're ultra-terrestrial, extra-dimensional, or whatever. There are forces out there that are beyond us that don't give a shit, right? So to me, that also represents just man versus nature, and nature beyond Earth, like the unknown, what's out there. But it's about hubris as well. It's about the hubris, especially hubris of control. And that's what the whole thing's about to me, is the idea how insane it is that we can affect some kind of control over reality, over forces. Now, I think we can, but what a bold fucking thought, right? And sometimes it bites you in the ass. The best explanation I can come up with is sometimes you take too many grams of shrooms and you meet the Cenobites. And hopefully you come out on the other side and start pop culture philosophers. Anyway, that's what it's about for me. So we're not going to continue on too long because we're not doing a PCP back chat or nothing. We're not going to do show and tell or nothing because we've already discussed a lot about these movies and whatnot. But I do have a few things I want to show off. So if you will indulge me, there's my Arrow box set of the Hellraiser films. It's the first three. It's region free, so that's dope. But just like Brooks, I have this DVD set of the Miramax Classics, it says, which is 3 through 8. I do not own the last two. Maybe one day. This is my Funko He-Man Masters of the Universe type. What, Savage World?
Yeah.
Pinhead,
Savage
yeah.
World.
There's that.
You got the box?
No. Little Funko mystery mini of Pinhead that I think is cute. Man, look at that. Speaking of Funko, I got Pops. I got Pops. Got the Chatterer. The Chatterer.
Sure. Pops are on their way up.
Yeah.
Pinhead. But I got two Pinheads. I got two of them. See?
One with the arms folded.
Yeah, subtle differences. And then the NECA, which is beautiful.
It is great. That's a great looking figure.
Yeah, I kind of want that.
Yeah.
Beautiful figure. And
they did a great job. My
most prized Pinhead collection, or Hellraiser piece in my collection, is when I met Doug Bradley, and I got him to sign this.
Hey, Doug Bradley.
See you in hell.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I remember
that's
that.
awesome. You got to frame that, man.
Yeah.
I need a frame. I've never framed it. Yeah. Oh, and also, I love this shirt that I got.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised when I fit in it today. So, hell yeah. All right. So that's it. Jelani, final thoughts?
This is a crazy ass film series. I'm glad I got a chance to watch all of them so I can judge it for myself. I think that it's stronger than Phantasm. but I think Friday the 13th is better as far as franchises go so far. We haven't gotten to Halloween, which is my favorite all time. But
Well, that's the finale this year.
yeah, it's the finale. So, but I'm glad we got to do this because I didn't get to see all these, and I finally did. So I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased at the outcome. Box checked. Revelations is a piece of shit. Never watch it. You guys are great.
Yeah.
I was sick for a little bit. Well, I'm still sick. I thought I had the big 1.9, but I didn't. So I found that out today. Super happy about that station. You guys, just do what we have to keep doing this, man, because it's still real out here. So be careful out here, and all the pleasures and all the sights
And all the suffering.
So,
Jay Strick, final thoughts.
To quote a great philosopher, I think it was one of those Meeseeks that said existence is pain.
Damn, that's real.
That is real.
That's real.
Yeah.
What about you, Brooks? Final thoughts.
Well, I'm disappointed. I was wanting to talk about the what ifs.
Oh, I did too.
God
The
damn,
dark
Brooks, I'm
ones.
sorry, man.
The
I'm
super
sorry.
dark ones. It would have been perfect.
He didn't even watch them though.
I
Robbie
watched the one from last week.
You didn't watch Doctor Strange?
I haven't
that
watched
was
Doctor
the best
Strange
one.
yet.
Oh,
Strange was the best one.
Bro.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I'll talk about it Monday night. Sorry, Brooks. We'll talk about it next week, man.
you disappoint me.
Because next week we only have one movie to do,
What is
and
it?
it's Fright Night.
Fright
Ah, Fright
I love this
Night.
movie. I love this fucking movie.
I love that movie too.
I love
But before we get to that, Horrorfest continues tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show. Join me and Dylan as we talk about The Burbs, the Joe Dante classic. We started heavy with 10 Hellraiser films, so I appreciate Dylan for having some foresight, being like, let's do something a little bit simpler, The Burbs. There's the whole thing, by the way. The Joe Corallo poll, the winner was Satan's Little Helper.
We gotta find that movie.
But join us next week for Fright Night. Make sure you watch Fright Night. That's going to be a fun show. Mandy's going to be joining us. And my final thought is Mike Matthews is about to go on tour, and I love him. And my second favorite piece of my Hellraiser collection is this original piece of artwork that he got for me.
Oh,
How
nice.
cool is that?
That is pretty cool.
That's dope.
So Mike's a super cool dude. He's going to be joining us tomorrow night on the Burbs review on Dylan's Horror Show, along with Missing Link, I believe. And next week, Fright Night, join us again, joined by Manny. I am super fucking pumped to talk about that movie. I fucking love it. So Station, we all love you. And remember, out of everything, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.